Yo,
What's up, moviegoers?
My name's Sam Hogue.
My name's Josiah Hudak.
And today, we're going to be reviewing the newly released movie, Pokemon Detective Pikachu, on the first ever episode of Did I like that movie?
Did I like that movie?
Movie summary. Detective Pikachu is a live-action take on the popular video game, anime, and trading card game Pokemon, released in May.
Yep, it's directed by Rob Letterman and Ryan Reynolds, featuring classic characters from the series, such as Pikachu, Ash Ketchum, and Justice Smith. Some notable actors in this film include Justice Smith, Rachel Lillies, and Mewtwo.
So, without further ado, let's get into the review. And don't worry, this review is completely spoiler-free.
Yeah. So, well, at first this may seem just like a generic movie for kids. There were actually many things that I felt like I could relate to as an adolescent. You know, for example, Justice Smith, the protagonist, has a father who never loved him and then mysteriously disappeared. Heck, sometimes I even wish I had my own Detective Pikachu when my mom didn't receive child support for 6 years. That being said, with the exception of Ryan Reynolds, who delivered an electric performance as the Detective Pikachu, I was shocked at just how unrealistic some of the acting was.
Yeah, everyone acted as if having Pokemon around was totally normal. Myself, being a huge fan of the series, I would have been ecstatic to see all my favorite Pokemon just around me. You know, I grew up with Pokemon, so it was normal to see me at my bedside just playing one of the classic Pokemon games, like Pokken Tournament.
But while the acting really takes you out of the film, it reels you back in with the hyper-realistic plot. You know, it really seems like things would happen exactly as they would in the real world. You know, for example, when the highly talented news intern is never given any credit because she's a woman.
Yeah, one of my favorite actors in the movie is Detective Yoshida, played by Ken Wannabe. You know, it's a really bold move to see Nintendo, who owns both Pokemon and Mario, make a reference to one of its famous Mario characters, Yoshi. And you know, it may be setting up a sequel where these two franchises come together. And maybe they fight or brawl in a sense.
Yeah, that would actually make a pretty cool video game.
No.
Well, so Justice Smith's dad, Harry Goodman, is a central point throughout the entire film. Yeah. His last name, Goodman, is actually a reference to the fact that he is indeed a good man. And this claim is further backed up by Mewtwo when he says, Harry is a good man. Sam, what did you think about Pikachu actually being Harry the whole time?
I think I found this aspect of the movie most relatable, as similar to Justice Smith, I try to find my father figure in things that aren't actually my father. But Ryan Reynolds' portrayal of this character was fantastic. I mean, I'm still surprised that he was able to fit into such a small costume. Obviously, some of it was CGI. Primarily the hat is CGI, otherwise it would fall off. Speaking of Pokemon, Mewtwo is in the movie.
Yeah. You know, I think the character Psyduck really came to life in this movie. He embodies what I like to call like a white girl, because he was just really stressed pretty much the whole film. And I think if he took something like Xanax, some of those problems might have diminished a little bit. I'm honestly not too sure why they didn't just give him something like Xanax. But, you know, all he ever said was his own name. And it was like he was trying to remind people that he was still there. And I think a little more character depth would have gone a long way.
Yeah, I like to remind people that I'm still there sometimes, though, so I can sympathize with that. Parents, if you don't know much about Pokemon, don't worry, because this was actually my first experience ever with the Pokemon franchise, and I understood the plot entirely. The only brief information you need to know is the synopsis about Unknown and Arceus, regarding how you can't rank them on a societal hierarchy because Unknown has little to no information entered into the Pokédex, and Arceus, having a god-like complex, is unable to face against this creature, if you want to call him that, because of its unknown, hence the name Unknown, capabilities. Other than that, you should be fine.
Yeah, that's pretty much all you really got to have down. I think the only person in my family who even knew about Pokemon before was my uncle. You know, when I was a kid, he used to always come over and do these like crazy costumes or cosplays or whatever. He'd say something like, I'm Pikachu in the shower. I didn't really get it because I was a kid, but...
Electric types are effective against water, so that would make sense.
Yeah, I don't know. But speaking of family, let's talk about ratings. Now, Detective Pikachu was given a PG rating. However, I would personally have to disagree with this decision. Because as Twitter user Detective Pikachu points out, as you'll see, please do not take your children to see Detective Pikachu. In the film, Pikachu shoots a man to death. The advertising people wouldn't listen to us. This is not a kid's film. It must be stressed. Pikachu discharges his firearm into a human man until he is no longer alive.
Yeah, I was immensely surprised about how that was actually put into the final film. In all fairness, it did advance the plot, and Ryan Reynolds did a fantastic portrayal of that scene. But what's even more surprising is that in the entire film of Pokemon and humans, there is not one black person.
The crazy purple gas known as R, when inhaled, made the Pokemon go absolutely bonkers and attack the people around them. You know, this reminds me of the effects of alcohol on my father before I left. It's just another way that I, as an adolescent, can relate to this kid's movie. It's crazy.
Despite Pikachu being in the film, Mewtwo is the only one who is actually cast for the production because of Ryan Reynolds being there, until you realize about Justice Smith.
At the end of the movie, Justice Smith is about to head back on a train to visit his grandfather. However, human Ryan Reynolds, who for some reason was not in his Deadpool costume, even though that would make a pretty cool crossover if you ask me, says something like, "Hi." And this may be a subtle nod to the movie Hachi, which means 8 in Japanese, where the dog waits for his dead owner, but he never comes back. And speaking of things that never come back, when you die, that's it.
As I was watching this film, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, speaking of films, this one is packed with cinematography. You know, with a record-breaking runtime for the series of 1 hour and 45 minutes, the movie ends.
All right, it's time for my personal favorite segment of this series. Speaking with the stars.
Now, if you're familiar with the series, you know we'd usually have a guest star from the film right here on Did I Like That Movie to interview. But unfortunately, Ryan Reynolds actually declined my invitation, even though I spent $200 on the meet and greet where I asked him.
Yeah, and this is speculated to be that Ryan is just too busy filming what we think is Detective Pikachu 2. You know, Ditto is a large plot point throughout the entirety of the film. You know, this Pokemon did a lot in the movie. He didn't have as much of an impact as, say, Justice Smith. He still did transform into other people and Pokemon, hence the name Ditto.
Now, Ditto appears as both a male and a female during the movie, but his eyes look like he took around 5 pounds of cocaine. Now, to be fair though, I don't think laws regulating controlled substances really apply to Pokemon in the film.
Near the end, however, Justice Smith and Pikachu are running away from a laboratory when all of a sudden, turtles just start rising from the ground. In fact, the turtles are the ground. I was pleasantly surprised to see how the creators of the movie used turtles to symbolically represent the ever-growing pro-choice movement in America.
Wackadakadaba. You know, one feature of this film that I think really made it pop were the turtles. Now, these turtles were big. And when I say big, I don't mean small, I mean big, like your financial debt after spending $180,000 on a liberal arts degree.
Freaking liberals, dude. Yeah, exactly, the turtles were there. And everyone was aware of it. I enjoyed the allusion to Sharia law when Pikachu gets hit in the head with a rock, or stoned, after delivering the line, quote, "Gays deserve equal rights," end quote.
Now, if you haven't seen the movie yet, click off now, as we're about to be going over some major spoilers from the film. Okay, so now that that's taken care of, despite rumors, Billie Eilish did not make a guest appearance in the film as the bad guy.
Yeah, because, I mean, she's not a Pokemon.
Shut up.
So. Now, for the big final, we will answer the question, did I like that movie? Sorry, you want to go first?
I'll go first. And, you know, it's a close call. But I'm going to have to go with, I liked that movie.
Haha, nice. Okay, my turn. I liked that movie.
Critic consensus. Now, if you want to see a movie that both of us enjoy, is a good movie, and accurately analyzes the conflict between Israel and Palestine, all under 2 hours, then go see
Pikachu the Detective. Thanks for watching.
Goodbye. If I had the ability to just never laugh when I didn't want to, this would be the best video of all time. Or if I could just remember one of my lines, that would be cool.